The barrel of her gun didn't waver, but her voice shook as she shouted louder, like she was trying to convince herself she was in charge. "On the ground! Now!" she barked, waving the weapon for the whole street to see. Neighbors peeked through blinds, some filming with phones, but no one dared to step in. My son didn't move. He kept his hands raised, eyes locked on hers, steady and calm. He had faced real war zones. This wasn't even close. "Lady," he said in a low tone, "you point that gun one more second and you're the one breaking the law, not me." She laughed, a sharp, fake sound. "Law? I am the law here. The HOA gave me authority. You think anyone will believe you over me?" The crowd whispered. A badge from Amazon? A pistol out in the open? And a woman who thought she owned the street? Everyone was realizing something was off. My son tilted his head, almost amused. What she didn't know, what nobody there knew, was that under his jacket was a concealed holster. He wasn't just a resident. He was special forces, fully armed, licensed, and far more trained than any self-declared HOA cop. And the moment she took a step closer, finger trembling on that trigger, I knew the first twist was coming. Her heels scraped against the pavement as she closed the distance, gun now inches from his chest. "Last chance," she hissed. "You think you're untouchable? Out here, you follow my rules." The crowd murmured, uneasy, but no one dared to move. My son's jaw tightened. He had stayed calm long enough. With one smooth motion, he shifted his stance, fast enough to make her flinch, but steady enough to keep control. His voice cut sharp through the tension. "Point that gun at me again and you'll find out how real authority looks." Karen froze, confused. Authority? What did he mean? She tried to laugh it off, but her hand shook on the trigger. "You're bluffing," she snapped, louder now, as if volume could cover her fear. "I'm HOA security. You have nothing." That's when he slowly reached to his pocket, not for a weapon, but for his wallet. He flipped it open just enough for her to see the ID inside. Military issue, the kind that shuts mouths instantly. Gasps rippled through the crowd. One man whispered, "Oh my God, he's not just some guy." Karen blinked, stepping back a half step, her fake confidence cracking. But it was too late. Phones were recording, neighbors were watching, and the truth was now in the open. And my son? He still hadn't shown the real power he carried. That was coming next. Karen's smirk twitched into panic when she realized what she was staring at. Her fake badge suddenly looked like a toy compared to the heavy weight of his military ID. Still, instead of backing off, she doubled down. She waved her pistol toward the neighbors like a cornered animal. "Don't believe him. He forged that. He's dangerous. He doesn't belong here." The crowd gasped louder now. Phones zoomed in on her trembling hands. Someone shouted, "Put the gun down before you kill somebody." But Karen wasn't listening. Her world was collapsing, and the only weapon she had left was fear. My son took a slow step forward, unshaken, his voice calm enough to chill her to the bone. "You're pointing a gun in front of witnesses at a federal officer. Do you realize what that means for you?" Her eyes darted left and right, searching for backup that wasn't coming. Then, desperate, she screamed, "The HOA will protect me. They know the rules. You'll be gone by tomorrow." And that's when the second twist hit. Behind her, sirens wailed, real ones this time. A sheriff's cruiser rolled into the street, lights flashing. The neighbors surged closer, whispering in disbelief. The real cops had arrived. Karen froze, caught between the fake power she clung to and the very real authority pulling up behind her. My son, he didn't even turn to look. He just muttered under his breath, perfect timing. The cruiser door swung open, and two deputies stepped out, hands resting near their holsters. One of them barked, "Drop the weapon!" The command sliced through the chaos, but Karen spun toward them, flailing her badge like it meant something. "It's fine, officers," she yelled, her voice cracking. "I'm HOA security. He's trespassing. He threatened me. Arrest him now before it's too late." The deputies exchanged a look. One raised an eyebrow, the other glanced at my son. Calm, steady, hands raised, but eyes sharp. The taller deputy stepped closer. "Ma'am, that's not a real badge, and pointing a gun at a resident, that's a felony." Karen's face drained of color. She stammered, "No, you don't understand. He's lying. He's dangerous." But before the deputies could even reply, my son finally lowered his hands. With controlled precision, he pulled back his jacket just enough to reveal his concealed holster and the very real credentials clipped beside it. His voice was low, steady, and final. "I'm Special Forces, fully licensed to carry. She aimed first. I have every right to defend myself." The crowd erupted in gasps. Phones captured everything. The deputies froze for a beat. Then both turned toward Karen, eyes hard now. One deputy's words cut sharper than her pistol ever could. "Ma'am, you're under arrest." And just like that, her entire empire of fake power began to crumble. Karen stumbled back, nearly dropping the gun as the deputies advanced. "You can't arrest me," she shrieked, her voice breaking. "I'm the one protecting this neighborhood. He's the intruder." But the crowd wasn't buying it anymore. Neighbors who once stayed silent now shouted from the sidelines, "You pulled a gun on his kid. You almost shot someone over nothing. Put her in cuffs already." The deputies didn't hesitate. One moved in, disarming her in a swift motion, while the other grabbed her wrists. The moment the cold steel of handcuffs clicked shut, Karen exploded into hysterics. "You'll regret this. The HOA will sue you. You don't know who I am." My son finally exhaled, calm but firm, and stepped closer. "We know exactly who you are, and so does everyone watching this live." That's when Karen's head snapped up because nearly half the crowd had their phones out, streaming to Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. Her meltdown was already viral before she even hit the back seat of the cruiser. One deputy leaned in and whispered just loud enough for her and the cameras to catch. "Ma'am, impersonating law enforcement is a felony. Pointing a gun at a federal officer, that's years in prison." Karen's bravado shattered. For the first time that night, she went silent, her eyes wide with the weight of what she had just done. And the crowd, they finally cheered.